What a happy family. A family having a birthday party for a girl about 3 years old at a family restaurant. They really do look like a close family that can be found anywhere. Except for the fact that the father looking up at me with a pale face is my husband. Let me take a picture of the three of you. Come on, father, give us a smile. I briskly took a series of pictures of them with the SLR camera. My husband was in the picture, with an awkward smile on his face, not yet knowing what might happen after that. My name is Emily. I am 33 years old, and work as a writer and photographer in the editorial department of a company that produces a town magazine. I met my husband Michael, who is a company employee, through a friend, and we have been married for 5 years this year. My husband's parents are still alive and well, and my father-in-law, who retired a few years ago, has started farming locally. My father-in-law, who looks scary, raised him very strictly, and my husband seems to have a bad attitude toward him, and hardly ever comes close to in-law's house. However, my parents-in-law were very kind to me, and I loved both them and my husband's hometown. So I live with Michael in a town about an hour's drive away from my in-laws, and I went to my in-laws' house by myself to help them with their farming. I had a good relationship with my relatives, and they loved me, but we had a problem. That is, we could not have children. My in-laws and other relatives never said anything about having children, but I wanted to show my in-laws their grandchild as soon as possible because of my age. However, Michael was not supportive of having children. To begin with, he was quite busy at work, and about 3 years ago he suddenly started working overtime and traveling on business, which meant he was away from home more and more. I was trying my best to get pregnant with the few chances I had. Then one day, "Hey Michael, I'm not pregnant this time either." When I was disappointed, my husband replied, I see." My husband replied without any concern, "Michael, don't you want to have a baby?" "I do. Please, can you go to a fertility clinic with me next time?" Michael kept his eyes down on his phone.
There's no need for that. You're the cause of the problem anyway, so you're on your own.
I was shocked to be told such a thing so bluntly. However, I was too frustrated and sad to say anything back at that time. That weekend, my husband had gone off to work on his day off, so I went to my in-laws' house alone to help them with their farming. While out in the fields, I would see the neighborhood children playing happily. Then I remembered my conversation with Michael, and I burst into tears.
"What's wrong, Emily?"
My father-in-law asked me in surprise, and my mother-in-law looked into my face with concern. I honestly confided that I felt responsible for my inability to have children. "It's not your fault, Emily. We're fine with it as long as the two of you get along." He was a big, stocky, strong-looking father-in-law, but his voice was gentle. My mother-in-law also says, "Don't beat yourself up," and wiped my tears. I was truly thankful to have my parents-in-law in my life. However, I began to feel that my life with Michael was suffocating me. Even when he was home, he was always on his cell phone, and would not talk to me unless he needed me. To make matters worse, he began to leave all of my in-laws' business and family relations to me. One day, I asked Michael, who came home late and was having dinner, for advice. My father-in-law told me that there will be a memorial service at your uncle's house. "We'll go home together then, won't we?" But Michael was as blunt as ever.
"What? I can't go because I have to work that day."
"But it's a memorial matter. Michael doesn't even help with the farming, so you should at least show up on such occasions."
"You're well liked by the relatives and my parents, so why don't you just go by yourself?"
"What? They're Michael's parents, And your relatives, aren't they?
Oh my God, shut up. I said I'll leave it to you.
Michael put down his fork roughly and glared at me.
You mean you can't even have a baby and you don't want to socialize with your in-laws, don't you? Don't you feel any shame?
I just wanted to tell you that I wanted to go with you, I replied in a small voice. But Michael looked annoyed and began to get ready to go out. You just got back. Where are you going?
I'm going out to eat. You just deal with that bad food.
Michael left without looking back, and I was left alone with tears in my eyes. From then on, I began to get serious about infertility treatment because it pained me to be blamed for not being able to have children any longer. Michael was not willing to go to a fertility clinic, so I begged him to let me take his specimen and to have my husband's test done as well. Furthermore, Michael sometimes complained about the housework, so I made sure that the housework was done perfectly. In this way, I tried my best to make the house a comfortable place for him. Then a package arrived at our house. I opened it, thinking it was something I had bought by mail order. I realized that it was not my own because inside was a cute doll for toddlers that I did not recognize. Michael bought this. Why did he need all this stuff? That night, I apologized to Michael for opening his package without permission and asked him why he had bought the doll, which made him shifty eyes for a moment.
Well, it's a present for my boss's daughter.
Huh, was it?
It's her birthday soon. What's more, why did you open it without permission?
I'm sorry about that. Michael didn't hear my apology and went out somewhere with the box with the doll in it, looking grumpy. All I could do was to silently see him off. A few days later, I had to go away for an interview and got home late. I heard that Michael was staying overnight on a business trip that day, so I decided to have dinner at a family restaurant I saw. As I sat down alone and looked at the menu, the waiter brought a birthday cake with candles to the back seats, and I could hear the children's excitement. I wonder if I will be able to celebrate with my children someday. I looked back at them with a smile on my face. There was a little girl, about 3 years old, and her parents were having a birthday party for their child. But I did a double take at the happy scene, because no matter how I look at it, sitting across from the child with a smile on his face is my husband, Michael. What? Why? At this moment, I realized everything. All the overtime work, the holidays, the business trips, it was all a lie. Michael, unaware that I was staring at him, offers a gift to the girls. Thank you, Daddy. The girl unwrapped the package, and out came the doll from that time. I finally couldn't take it anymore, grabbed the SLR camera I had brought with me for the interview, and walked over to the seat. What a happy family you have, I said with a smile. Michael looked up and froze. The woman who seemed to be the mother didn't notice and smiled. It's her birthday party today. I see. I am a photographer. Since we're here, I'll take pictures of the three of you with my SLR. I held up the SLR camera with a smile on my face, and the woman smiled and said, "Are you sure? I'm so happy to have a professional take our picture." She bounced her voice and leaned closer to the child. Michael is slumped over with a pale face. What is it? What's wrong? Dad, smile please. Then Michael made an awkward smile in front of the mother and girl. I took a series of pictures of him. Then, after exchanging email addresses with the mother, saying I would send her a picture, I said, "Good luck." I waved and left. After leaving the family restaurant, I went home, suppressing my racing heart. I immediately sent a message to Michael, but although the message was read, there was no reply. In the end, Michael did not come home that day. After spending the night without sleep, I headed with heavy steps to the fertility clinic, where I had an appointment the next day. I had been trying so hard to have Michael's child. But what was the point of going to the clinic now? That was what I was thinking. However, after being told something, I left the clinic and immediately began preparing for a counterattack. That night, I was at home when Michael finally came home. "You're home very early today. I wonder if you've turned defiant now that everything is out in the open." My husband looked at me with a grimace, but quickly acted all innocent.
What do you mean? I just came to pick up some stuff for an upcoming business trip.
"You were at a family restaurant yesterday celebrating a child's birthday."
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thrust my cell phone screen at the frustrated Michael. "I have more than just the pictures I took yesterday. I have proof right here. Are you saying this isn't you, too?"
That's not.
It was the social networking account of the mother of the child with whom I exchanged contact information yesterday. Searching by email address earlier in the evening, I quickly found her account, and there had posted many pictures of happy families. Yesterday's photo even included the comment, "A doll present from Michael Dad." When confronted with this, my husband finally looked as if he had given up.
I get it. I just have to admit it, right? Yes, this is me.
"You're sure it means you cheated on me, had a child, and led a double life, right?"
Oh yeah, I have a cute daughter and girlfriend, not like you, who can't even have children, but a young, well-behaved girlfriend.
At that moment, the sliding door of the next room leading to the living room opened with a bang. Opened, Michael's eyes widened like saucers. There, my father-in-law, mother-in-law, and about 20 of their relatives were standing in a row. Dad, Mom, and even my uncles. Why? Michael was in a panic, but my father-in-law walked up to him and suddenly threw him onto his back. My husband was knocked to the floor with a loud thud. My father-in-law is actually a former police officer and a judo expert.
Ouch. Dad, what are you doing?
As my husband tried to get up, my mother-in-law silently slapped him hard. I and the rest of the relatives were staring at him coldly.
Oh, hey Emily, why are they here?
My husband shouted this with tears in his eyes. I looked down at him calmly. I sent a picture of yesterday's birthday party to all the relatives at once and explained the situation to them.
Oh no.
My husband was aghast, but immediately got down on his knees to his parents, who were looking like demons.
Dad, Mom. Calm down, please. Please, listen to me.
Oh, then talk to us.
Michael rubbed his head against the floor. His eyes shifted, but he spoke rapidly.
Well, I didn't mean to hurt you. It just turned out this way. Everyone makes a mistake or two.
My husband was about to slur his words when my father-in-law spoke up in a low voice.
Is that all you have to say?
Dad and Mom, think about it. You don't need a wife who can't even have children like this. You like her strangely enough, and I didn't want to pay alimony, so I just kept the relationship going.
Don't give me any bullshit excuses.
My husband shouted at my father-in-law. He was about to grab Michael by the collar again and tried to take his hand to pull a move.
I hid it from you, but Dad and Mom have grandchild. Aren't you happy? Why don't you just get along with your new daughter-in-law and grandchild?
Then the father-in-law threw the resisting husband once more.
What a thing to say to Emily. You stupid son of a bitch. It doesn't deserve to hear any of your nonsense.
Michael fell on his back, his face contorted and coughing. Then my father-in-law gave him a ground techniques.
Dad, stop it. It hurts.
My husband struggled to get out from under my father-in-law's body. I stood in front of him, a new wife and cute daughter. Can you say the same thing when you see this?
What?
My husband looked at me strangely, and I held up the form with the test results that I had gotten from the infertility clinic during the day. My husband's face turned pale in an amusing manner.
A natural pregnancy is extremely difficult. What the hell is this?
It's an authentic your test result. Your body is incapable of producing a child.
That can't be true, because it's...
I wonder if it's really your child. child, or if you need to do a DNA test. Silence fell over the place, and my parents-in-law and other relatives looked at my husband with a mixture of pity and disgust. Then, after repeatedly comparing my face to the test results, my husband suddenly clung to my leg.
I was a fool to believe in that woman. All I had was Emily. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
What? What are you talking about?
I don't care about them anymore, so you and I can live together.
I felt something snap inside me at this moment, and I shouted out loud, "Don't get carried away. I'm divorcing you. I'm going to charge you $30,000 for cheating on me."
Don't say such a thing. You're the only wife I have.
Don't play the fool. Don't you ever show your face to me again. My father-in-law grabbed my stunned husband by the neck and dragged him toward the front door. My mother-in-law repeatedly bowed her head to me and apologized, and my husband's relatives gently encouraged me. Later, my divorce from Michael and I was finalized. Michael, who was rushed by my father-in-law, immediately paid the alimony. Incidentally, a DNA test showed that the father of the child was not really Michael, and this led to the breakup of Michael and the woman as well. Furthermore, the woman with whom he was having an affair found out that she had been having relations with him knowing that Michael was married, and I demanded alimony. The woman's parents had no idea and were furious. They declared that they would relieve the alimony and take the woman and their grandchild back to the countryside to be under their supervision. I am glad that the innocent child was placed in a decent environment. As for Michael, my father-in-law forced him to quit his job and return to his hometown. He is now working under pressure for a construction company owned by a family. family member. My father-in-law and relatives declared, "We're going to beat his guts back into shape." My father-in-law and mother-in-law apologized to me repeatedly and even gave me a large sum of money for my trouble. My mother-in-law encouraged me, "From now on, live for your own happiness, and I live alone and work hard every day. From now on, I will not forget the debt of gratitude from my parents-in-law and other relatives who stood by me, and I will continue to live